finding the right vacation home. You've decided you'd like to get yourself a vacation home here in Orlando area. You start looking it up, you see all of these properties, all of the resorts, all of these things. All of a sudden there's a bunch of stuff. Jings, there's tons of it. Oh, which one's the right one for me? How do I go about this? That is what we're going to answer for you today. So finding the right vacation home, how do you start? Well, that is probably the thing that we spend the most amount of time on here at the Jerry Barker Group, going through with our clients, finding out exactly what makes sense for them. It's a personal, it's a financial, it's putting those pieces together and figuring exactly where and what makes most sense for a buyer. The majority of the time you will find when you actually dig into it, yes, you see all these resorts, there's dozens of resorts and there's hundreds, thousands of homes to choose from, all different shapes and sizes, etc. And yes, it gets very, very complicated. But if you're dealing with it every day, and I've been fortunate enough to be doing this for over a decade, it actually turns out to be pretty linear. And you may look and you say, why is this house $100,000 more than this one? It's the same size, or whatever the case may be. What you will find generally, with the odd exception, there's usually the occasional crazy person who thinks they can get far more money for the property than they can. But generally, I would say 98% of the properties you're going to find is linear. In other words, if they're set at a particular price, there's a reason for that. And the reasons, especially with vacation homes, can be a lot of different things. Generally, the things that factor in terms of the price of the property are the location. The resort's very important, making sure you're in a new resort, the floor plan of the home, how well it's furnished, how well it's maintained, how well it's managed. A lot of the time people are looking for very specific scenarios. If they're looking for a south-facing pool, or they're looking for a big deck, or whatever the case may be, things will cost a little bit more the more you add on. It's a little bit like buying a car. You want to put in the shiny wheels, it costs you an extra whatever. Very similar. The upgrades in properties are very, very linear, and you'll find that generally everything finds its slotting place. So understanding where all that is really important. That's what we can help you with. We can make sure that you understand why properties are what they are in the marketplace and why they cost what they cost. But breaking down what's most important for you, I think, is probably one of, if not the most important thing about purchasing a property. So sit down with an expert who can listen. First of all, figure out what your budget is. Make sure that you are very candid about that, because a few extra $1,000 here and there can actually make a really big difference. It can put you into a much better place in terms of something for you. Also in terms of the ability to rent it out and generate more income. So if you can stretch up, it's always a good idea to try and go a little bit higher, simply because the chances are it will generate more revenue. In fact, many people find that if they're able to scale up a little bit, the potential for generating more nightly revenue actually covers the cost, or the additional cost of scaling up on the purchase, and therefore most people realize that they get basically a free upgrade. By spending a little bit more, they can actually generate a little bit more revenue, so they get the benefit of a great house and it's paid for by someone else. So that's also very important, to make sure that you get your budget. Then it's personal items, and usually people buy vacation homes are either all the way in a financial, it's money's the most important thing, or all the way on the other side, where personally their own personal use, the family use, etc. is the most important thing. And nearly everybody is somewhere in that little dial, somewhere from one side to another. So figuring out what's more important to you in terms of it's a property that you want for yourself, something that you need for your family or friends, or whatever the case may be, or if it's a financial thing, are we looking for a property that makes more sense financially, or are we making a property that makes more sense personally, or somewhere in the balance? So understanding those items, getting the financial side of it, getting an idea of what you're looking for in terms of a property and a location is really important. Once you start breaking it down on the high level, then you can start to go down into the granular. Maybe we're looking for a resort that has a lazy river, or maybe we're looking for a home that has 6 bedrooms, or we're looking for a home that has a theatre room, or a south-facing pool area, or a west-facing pool. It could be a number of various different things that go into that calculation. So again, having that conversation, maybe even having that conversation a couple of times. We like to sit down for an initial conversation, try and figure out what the parts are, send you away with some homework, do some research, look at some properties, come back to us and tell us we really love this one and we really love that one and we really love them because of these reasons. And then we can say, oh, well, if you like that, then maybe you like this one over here. And we can start pointing in direction. So long before you ever come to Orlando to look at properties, we've actually figured out the very best places and the very best properties for you. So when you come here, we can go straight to there. No wasting time. If you come with the kids are young, you don't have to be dragging them all over the place and showing them houses all day that at the end of the day are nothing like what you want to buy. We just want to take you and make sure that you see the properties that are ideal for you. Narrow it down to a couple of locations, narrow it down to a couple of different house dynamics and floor plans. Then we can come and take a look if those homes are not available or something isn't on the market today that you want. Then we can sit and snipe. We can wait for something coming up and then jump on top of it as soon as it becomes available. The key to getting the right vacation home is being educated and doing all of your diligence up front. So by the time you get here to meet with us, we know exactly what you're looking for. And that is the best way to find the ideal vacation home for you and your family here in Orlando. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you've got a couple of minutes, stop over to our website at jerrybarker.com. Download yourself a free copy of my book, The Orlando Vacation Home Buyer's Guide. It's going to tell you absolutely everything you need to know about buying, owning and managing a vacation home here in Orlando. Read that also. That will be part of your homework. And you can call us or reach out to us anytime at the website. Ask us any questions you have, any concerns you have, and we'll address all those for you to make sure you are educated before you purchase a vacation home here in Orlando. Thanks for watching.